G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 4 of my Piercing Blademaster playthrough with Stabitha. At the end of the last episode, if you cut out early, I did indeed do no additional content, with the exception that that's the spacebar, I did put 3 more points into Night's Chill because I hit level 24 just before I started, or just after I started, sorry, running through the Warden's Laboratory for extra crystals. The reason why I was doing that was for devotion remapping. We no longer have the lizard for the regen stuff, and we no longer have the fox for the attack damage converted to health. We have swapped over to the ghoul here. We get ghoulish hunger, which is kind of a in case of death break glass kind of thing. And as long as you keep attacking while this is active, you should be relatively invincible as long as you don't get one shot. This also comes with the attack damage converted to health node there, so that's why we were able to replace Fox. And after Act 1-ish, we are not going to be focusing so much on regeneration. We have also got the Harpy here. This one is notable for the 35 to 59 piercing damage. It is flat piercing damage. It's going to be added onto all of our attacks. You also get a lot of crit stuff, and all the rest is just really nice to have. And then we are doing the Empty Throne. You could do the Owl as well. It doesn't really matter. Just pick one of these and go for it. And that will unlock access to Blades of Nadan. Now this used to be, I believe it was this one. It might have been Assassin, but I'm pretty sure it was Blades of Nadan here. Used to be the thing you needed to actually convert piercing damage on your swords to 100%. I'm pretty sure it was this node exactly here. I'm almost certain that this used to say 50% increased piercing conversion or something to that effect. And if you wanted to do piercing damage previous to patch 1.2 something, you would have to take this node, or you would only be converting half of your damage. I think it was actually 100% increased piercing conversion or something like that. Anyway, you needed this node, and you needed this devotion. This is still a piercing damage devotion, and it's got a bunch of flat piercing. It's got 100% plus piercing damage. It's got some attack speed. It's all really good stuff. And it also gives us some purple and yellow affinity that we're going to need. So that's the next step after Empty Throne. All right, so the other thing that happened towards the end of last episode was we hit Respected with Devil's Crossing, which means we get access to the faction shop here. Technically, we could have already bought these, but I mean, honestly, we're not using a shield, and poison damage, not so great. The fumble's nice, but yeah, no. The reason this is important is actually 2 reasons. One is the Gluttony Relic, which we're going to use for a little while. Ideally, this is not the one you want. You actually want Geel or Guile, again, depending on how you want to say it. And then we'll be swapping that out again later on down the road. But for now, the attack damage converted to health on this is really nice. The Aether resistance is also going to be really nice towards the beginning of Act 3. And the Breath of Death proc on that goes off constantly, does damage, and at this point in the game, we have minimal amounts of shredding. Monsters generally don't have huge amounts of resistances, so any kind of damage is still kind of good, and that damage is converted to health. And because it is a wave, like almost like Force Wave, but slower, anything it hits, and it is an AoE, anything it hits will be giving us a decent chunk of health back. So pretty good. I'm going to buy that. And the other thing I want to buy is the Aether Soul component, which is really, really, really good later on. You do need a ton of Aether Crystals for these. I know it lists only 3 for the ingredients, but you do have to make Wrathstones as well, and I believe they are 3 or 4 each as well. So this is at least 12 Aether Crystals for each Aether Soul, and I think it's actually more than that. So I do want to grab that as well. Looking at some of the other stuff here, none of these are particularly useful. Devil's Cord could be okay when we get to 35, but we'll worry about that later. So let's go ahead and eat those. Now, I can't use the Gluttony Relic until level 25, so next level. But I do happen to have everything to make it, so I'm going to go ahead and make it and chuck it in my I'm going to use this stuff later, I swear pile. And let's get underway. So we got to speak to Barnabas, but basically we were up to Twin Falls. We can go ahead and clear that out. Also, someone mentioned in the previous comments why I didn't start Forgotten Gods to get the movement rune. And the answer, realistically, is I have Shadow Strike. And we are going to be joining Drieg because I want some of the faction equipment from Drieg. Specifically, which item is it? Drieg Combatant Cask at level 65. Drieg's movement skill is a teleport, and I just don't like how it feels. If you particularly want the extra movement skill, go ahead and grab it. But I'm not planning on doing Forgotten Gods until later. So going in there now to get a movement skill I don't want to join a faction that I already know is, I mean, feel free, but I'm going to skip it for now. One good thing about that teleport, though, is it doesn't need a target. So Shadow Strike and later Blitz both require a target. So the good thing about the teleport is you can just push the button and you'll move. But for now, I'm happy with just that kind of tickle. I'm happy with just Shadow Strike, and I'm just going to stick with that. Okay, so Revenants here. A lot of the undead are kind of medium resistant to piercing, so that is why I've taken Knight's Chill here. A lot of undead are about 25 to 50% pierce resistant, and so that's going to help out a lot. One thing to really watch out for in this area is all of the yellow glowy skeletons, because they are healers, and especially if there's heroes around, but just in general, you want to target them first. So Shadow Strike kills them in one shot, at least for now. And we want to take them out first, because you'll do this one time. One time it'll happen. You'll be fighting either Musiloki or something else big, like maybe Ilgor in the, or maybe this guy who's just gotten healed from that priest there. But you'll be fighting something big, and then all of a sudden you'll get it down to about 15%, and then it's just full health again. And it's incredibly annoying. So I do like to take them out first. All of the priests have got to go. And I think Hellwraith here should go down now. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm actually not going to make this because my metal is okay. The Rime Frost for that Aether resistance is quite good. But if you have a rubbish metal, the Ranger's Ribbon, I think it is, the level 22 or 24 version, is craftable. It does get you one affix in addition to all of the stats that it has. So you can go and craft that if you don't have a decent metal. Ancient Lectern here allows us to start a quest a little bit early. So we'll pick up one piece. Once we get over sort of here-ish, we'll be going inside the Arcovian Undercity, and we'll be looking for more of those. Because I've got the quest started out here, I will have a star on my map to point out where they are. If you don't pick up the quest, and I'll point out the other locations where this can be, but if you don't pick up this outside, you'll just have to find them inside without the star. At least for the first one. Okay, totems. Again, I'm still a little bit sketchy on totems. Life is a little bit low. No massive holes in armor, but arms and shoulders are a little bit low. So I am going to pop this, and I am going to be ready to run, but we'll see what happens. These guys are not fun. The bone cages they sometimes throw on you will lock you in place. You will not be able to run away. So this is maybe not the best idea. However, good XP. We picked up the Explorer's Pants, which is actually a pretty good level to get these. Each piece of the Explorer's set will give you, I guess, 5% XP bonus, so 20% increased XP gain over the whole set. The stats on the items are also pretty good. There's a blueprint for the trousers and the chest, and then the cover, which is the helmet, and the boots, which I've already got, are things that you need to find. So because I already have the boots, if I made the trousers, I would lose cold resist, pierce resist, which I don't care about, and I would gain some poison and acid. I would lose chaos as well, which I don't really care about. So I might go see if I can do that. I may not have enough crafting material, but it does look pretty good. The Windborne Greaves there are also kind of good. When you get hit, puts up a cold field around your character. Let's see, I can make these. Do I actually want to? 118 armor. These are more armor. Chance to avoid attacks, which is why I really liked these ones, is pretty good. A little bit extra poison acid. Lose some cold, which doesn't matter. I'll still be capped. Lose some chaos, which doesn't really matter. I don't need it yet. I think I'm going to go with that. I'm just going to do that. Where are we? Next tab. The Ranger's badge is the one I was thinking of. So you get health, you get 3 resistances. You'll also get 1 random prefix or affix. So potentially I could get a really nice one. You know what? Let's just roll the dice. Rangers of the Gildum Arcanum. Okay, so Pierce, Vitality, Chaos, Bleeding. In exchange, I lose a bit of Aether. Casting speed is whatever. That's a decent amount of energy and health. I'll just swap those as well. Why not? A little bit low on poison. And I actually don't need that wardstone, so I'll hang on to that. Let's go ahead and get my components back. I'm also maxed out on run speed, so I've got 16% over, so I don't need that Mark of the Traveler. And at least in theory, I can swap out the Explorer's footpads pretty much completely, I believe. Not quite. If I swap those out, I would need to get another Mark of the Traveler. Okay, give me my add-ons, and let's get back to actually doing some stuff. No massive holes in resistances. We're ignoring these. Let's get back to it. Why do you have a quest? Oh, he wants dynamite, doesn't he? Okay, I probably shouldn't have given him that dynamite. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, we don't care about guns. You know what? Let's just pick all of this up. Of the Kings is a really good... where is it? What's the helmet? Of Kings is a really good affix. I would be maybe tempted to use this. I'm nowhere near the spirit requirement, and the armor is a downgrade, so I'm not going to, but could be good. Windborne Greaves, lots of movement speed, some Aether res, slow resistance, and that Howling Wind, when you get hit, you have a chance to freeze anything in melee range. Really, really nice. And yeah, we're not using that either. Okay, let's get some distance covered. Balvarok here, definitely want to not... If I could click on things, that'd be great. We do want to pick up his quest. First location, that is not the one where I got it from, where you can start this quest, is just here. You may find your little lectern there. Kill the priest. Also just in this area, you can head off the map and pick up some hidden loot. There we go. Almost never get anything good, but yeah, it can happen. There we go. Just power through some of these. Priest has to go. If you kill them as you find them, you're less likely to have issues with them healing each other or healing other things. The Warlocks, which is that one that I just killed there, also can be a little spicy. If a couple of them get together, they can nuke you down pretty quick. Final location where you may find your first Forgotten Passage thing is just here. So obviously I've already got mine, so it's not there, but definitely want to get it started. Speaking of things to start, let's go ahead and get this Devotion Shrine started. There's 25, so grab this. We've got another point here for the Empty Throne. Empty Throne's really good early because you get 10% Chaos and Aether resistance. If you ever need purple, Empty Throne is a good option. It's also got some, I think it's stun and freeze resist, something like that. So it's pretty good. As far as stats go, I'm going to put a few more points in Cunning. I know we've got enough Cunning for these swords, but at level 35, I think we need like 400 or 500. something like that for the swords we've got coming later. New belt, question mark. Okay, good resistances on that. I am well over on bleeding. A little bit extra armor. The physical stuff doesn't matter. Percentage, let's have a look at the stats here. So physique goes down, cunning stays the same, okay. I do think I'd rather have the chaos than a little bit of bleeding that's already over cap. Doesn't really matter. I might change that out next time I'm in town. Did lose a good chunk of elemental resist. I think I had some on my pants before because this was fine previously and is very much not fine. Actually, you know what it was? There we go, fixed. So we're now capped on everything except Aether Chaos and a little bit of Poison Acid. If I was worried about this, I could put another Anti-Venom Salve on my helmet, but that's fine. Right, so that's spent. We've got 3 more points here. And I'm going to start pushing the bar here. Now, I've already maxed out dual blades. I don't really care for more points in Amarastas. This is all cold damage. You do get more offhand damage, which is piercing, but I think I want to get towards the Ring of Steel. And I'm going to put 1 point per level, at least for now, into Shadow Dance. Chance to just avoid attacks is really, really strong, so I do want to max that out as well, but it's not super important. So that little wave you just saw there, that was from the relic, and it's going to be triggering all the time. We don't actually have to attack things for it to trigger either, because we do damage around us in an AoE because of Night's Chill or Veil of Shadow. Anytime there's an enemy in the area, let me just not attack here. Okay, that could arguably have been from the left click there, but the point is that aura counts as an attack against every enemy it hits every single time, and so you can trigger actually a lot of on attack things. This guy is reflecting, which I don't love. The good news, though, is we are doing piercing damage, and my piercing resistance is capped, so any reflected damage is going to be greatly reduced because of that. If we were doing a physical build, I would be a lot more scared of that guy. We are not, so I kind of don't care so much. This being blocked is kind of frustrating, because it does mean I have to go around. These warlocks are probably the scariest thing in here. If you get a group of them together, they can be a little rippy. Let's see if the big boy's home. There he is. Skeletal Gargantuan. Down he goes. Okay, don't really need to be fighting these. Let's move on. Alright, 4 priests and a warlock. And then there is our first target. That's going to be Nomos Dread. We'll just kill off his friends first, I think. Is this the Aether Meteor guy? I can never remember which one's which. Looks like he's lightning. No healers around, and all the damage looks like it's going to be mostly piercing, which I don't care about. We're stealing enough life back that it's kind of fine. Okay, Spectral Longswords. If you were doing a cold damage build here, this would be very, very nice. You've got cold damage, you've got elemental damage, piercing and physical converted to cold. Bonuses for Shadow Strike, which is including complete conversion to cold, and really good cold Nightblade weapon. It was actually the plan that I would be doing cold. I changed it last minute to just start and finish piercing, but I was going to be using those swords until I changed my mind, basically. There are also axes in here and maces, which are also good cold weapons. One's for caster. The mace is for probably more of a spell blade, spell breaker, sorry, kind of item. All right, we'll just take a few of these guys out. They're all made out of XP. These skeletal knights, if they hit you, apparently they hit decently hard now. I think that's probably because I have a couple of holes in my armor. But they definitely tickle. Okay, dropping a rift there, and we're just going to poke our heads outside. We do have a date with a man downstairs. Grab the quest from Minerva, and I'm going to grab the Rift Gate here as well. So we can go from there, just jump back down to my personal rift, and continue on through the Arcovian Undercity. We do have a quest to kill a decent number of heroes in this area, 2 more. We've already got 1 of them. And then Kilrian on the bottom floor is guarding a devotion shrine, which I want. Also, this quest to collect these 3, what are they even calling them now? Forgotten Passages. This quest actually just gives you XP, and usually the blueprint that it gives you is for something that you already have, so it's not a big deal. What do we got? Frozen, Servant of Drieg, and we've got something else there. Definitely need to kill the priests first here. Okay, all 3 of them close together like this, we can put them down relatively quickly. Tenebris the Blood Drinker. There's the Guardsman's Shoulders, so I could have a 2-piece there. I'm not going to because those ones just dropped, but we could get the 2-piece bonus for bonus physical damage, which, I mean, we don't really do physical damage, so that's kind of worthless. The armor on these is quite good though, and the elemental resist, hopefully these had elemental. They don't have any resistances. The battle cry proc is really, really good. I don't know if I can actually put these on though. Let's see what happens to my resistances. Actually, it's kind of fine. Yeah, let's go with that one. I do really like the Of Kings proc. I also try not to use too many blue items. They do tend to be a little bit of a trap for newer players because they'll put on a whole bunch of blue items that usually won't have resistances. I know as I'm saying this, the blue item has resistances and the green I'm using doesn't. I know, but generally speaking, blue items have less resistance than good greens. But I do tend to prefer to limit my use of blues just to show that sort of thing. Or at least not perpetuate the trap, I guess. Alright, still carving our way through all of these casters. Lots of priests here. Looks like most of the little guys should be down. That's a cutlass. I'll pick it up. We can get some iron bits. I've been buying blueprints, so we're a little bit low. Okay, gotta take out the priests once again. I know I mentioned this already, but it is just incredibly frustrating to have spent, 5-10 seconds fighting your way through the HP bar on a hero of some description. Ilgor is really bad for this. You get them down low, and then their health bar just fills again. It's really frustrating. So take out the priests as fast as you can. Priority target number 1, always kill the priests. Okay, we made it down to level 2. I don't think I've seen... Have I walked past the totem? I can't remember. We will find the totem on this level if I didn't already walk past it and or do it on the first level. It is not in this location, which is the first place it could be. So there it is. Forsaken Spirit Totem. I am going to do it. The last one was a little bit tame. I'm kind of hoping this one is going to be also tame, because they are a good source of rare and epic items, and also XP. Alright, 2 more points in the bar, and 1 more point in Shadow Dance. I think I'm just going to max this fairly soonish. Let's take Physique up to 15. I know I did just say earlier, the last level, that I want more points in Cunning so we can use the next weapons. That is still true, but oh, here's the Aether Meteors guy. We're going to take a bunch of these out. Priests have got to go, especially when there's 2 heroes beating on you. I also need to get better, once again, at using Shadow Strike as a bit of a nuke. I have got, what, level 7 in it at the moment, so the damage is decent. Maybe not amazing, but decent. Okay, Laudos Vagra, one more set of meteors, just for old time's sake. There we go. Alright, Bounty Hunter's Girdle. This is one of a couple of belts which have XP gained on them. When I was looking at the what do we call them, blacksmith earlier, this is the second belt that I found the blueprint for that has 5% XP on it. So I could, in theory, have 15% bonus XP. Definitely not going to do that, but I could. Alright, here's my totem, and this one is usually pretty tame. I've never really had much issue with this one. I am, however, just going to clear the area because this is still hardcore, and priests are still in the area. Getting a couple of skeletal gargantuans from this totem, and then having the priests constantly healing them is incredibly frustrating. Here we go, we got burning, we got diseased. Corrupted, okay, corrupted has to die immediately. As soon as I notice my health bar is going down, I'm evading out of it because I guarantee you it's going to be that Aether Field that can't really see. What are you? You're diseased. Okay, diseased and burning. These were the first guys. The Aether Field is now gone, so I'm pretty okay. There we go. Okay, Guardsman's Hammer. We're now at 3 pieces of that set. We've got the Rampage Relic, which is not horrible, but also not for me. I'm definitely not wearing this. The 3 set, though, is 30% stun reduction, which is not nothing. It's not bad. This is also pretty good. Poison and Vitality instead of Elemental. How is my Elemental? It's pretty... No, it's exactly at the cap. Okay, so I'm not going to use that. Demonic? Nope. That's another helmet. Okay, so we're fine. That's a yellow ring on the floor there. Alright. Priest. No more priest. Nope, nope, nope. I'm not playing with you. Be more. Here we go. Definitely having all of these AoE procs whenever you land, and then as long as you get one of them to go off, that's going to trigger all the others. So really good AoE for when you Shadow Strike into them. I am kind of on the lookout for the treasure trove, but I think... Do I even have dynamite? I've got 4 of them. I think I may have missed it already. We'll see. There's, what, 2, 3 more locations, I think, on this level? This is the other location where my totem could have been here. Instead, I've already done it. Kill the priests, and there's some loot in the wall here. Something did just break the wall. I didn't see what it was. It might have been the proc from my relic. But loot in the wall, always fun. That's a lot of increased armor. I am definitely going to have to get some new gloves. Just for the armor value, honestly. Alright, that'll do us. I'm not too worried about them. None of them can heal, so they can follow me if they want. Big boys have got to go. Priest has got to go. And then, yeah, look at all those AoEs go off. And just murder those packs. Okay, I'm running along here to get the skellies to pop out of the ground. Looks like they don't want to play, though. So I think we'll just go ahead and stab Ravina Kerr. And by Ravina Kerr, I mean this priest. Take her out. We've got some more secrets in the walls here, which I am definitely going to pop once Ravina goes down. If we were playing a, what is this called? A Phantasmal Blades character, this is who you farm for the weapon for it. Piercing and Chaos, fully converted to Vitality on Phantasmal Blades. Extra projectiles, 4 skill levels. Really good. Really, really good for that skill. Right, we are on to the next page. You can stop that, please. Okay, like I was saying, more loot in the walls. This also potentially can have the treasure trove. I think kind of here-ish. Might be over there. I can never remember. But it's not here today, so there's one more place I think I need to check. Okay, Dominators is pet stuff. Wolf is stats, so none of that. But hey, more iron bits, right? So one more location to check for the treasure trove, which is going to be over this way. And it's not here, so I missed it. That's fine. I'm not here for the treasure trove, it just would have been a nice to find. Probably walked past it at some point. Anyway, that's fine. Priests have got to go. Why? I don't know. I'm never coming back to this level again, so could have skipped them. Okay, take these guys out. A couple of priests. With the big boys in the area, you definitely don't want it. Don't love it. Don't want it. And the warlocks have got to go as well. I believe the warlocks are doing vitality damage, which I should be okay for. Speaking of vitality damage, you do want to check your vitality resistances before you go through this gate, because Kilrian does majority vitality damage. I believe he also does some cold and fire as well, but majority vitality, and your elementals should be pretty good anyway. If you're below sort of 40 to 50%, Kilrian is really going to hurt. So what you can do in that case is you can swap out these corpse dusts and instead use soul shards. These will get you some energy leech or absorption from enemy spells. But more importantly, they have 20% vitality resistance each instead of 10% each on the corpse dust. You will lose some health, but you will gain the vitality resistance that you need. Alright, give me that so I don't have to look at it. Things you need to worry about for Kilrian. He's going to put a purple circle on the ground. I'm going to just sort of see how much it hurts. Let me have a look here. Vitality decay. It does tickle a little bit, but I think I can stand in it. If you can, there's my treasure trove. If you can just stand in it and not die, that is one way to speed the fight up. If you can't, then you want to jump out of it and really watch out for this attack. That dart is going to hurt. So make sure you dodge that if you're going to be jumping in and out and avoiding the circle on the floor. Okay, did I get Kilrian's broken heart or twisted soul or whatever it is? I did not by the looks of it. That's alright. I'm going to grab his loot. Grab his devotion point. Frenzy, that's a gun. Renegades of Decay on the chest, no. Embroidered raiment, no. Okay, that's fine. Is that true though? Is it really true? Or are you just really bad at stacking the inventory? I think you're just really bad at stacking the inventory. Look at that, heaps of room. You could park a truck in there. Alright, treasure trove. Costs you 1 dynamite. You always get 2 rare crafting materials out of this. You'll usually get a couple of rares as well, occasionally an epic item, and later on you can get some purple items out of these. They are really, really good to hit. There's also this chest over here. The first time you come down here, it's worth it to pop that. Alright, I'm going to break my own rules. I'm going to spend devotion points. Not that one though. I want the Aether Res more. And then we are going back to DC to sell stuff. So I'm level 26, haven't really hit any new milestones, don't really have any new weapons I'm too interested in. Kilrian's weapon is kind of okay. It's not amazing, so I'm just going to vendor it. In fact, I'm going to be vendoring everything. Keep those for the moment, because I did say I wanted to maybe use some of that stuff. Maybe. But the rest of this has got to go. What are we doing with Velos Ring? I think we're just vendoring that. I think this belt... I'm decently over on bleed. Yeah, I'm going to swap that in. This helmet, way less armor. The +3 to Ring of Steel is going to be really nice. I am going to hang on to this, although the lack of resistances kind of sucks. These I'm going to keep for later, just in case I need Chaos Resistance desperately when I get to the second part of Homestead. Now, there's not a whole lot of vitality damage coming up for the foreseeable future, so I'm not going to put the soul shards on just yet. You definitely could, though. It's not a bad thing to have capped vitality res. So we'll see, we'll see. And I don't think I need Equilibrium, but I do usually bank it. And then when I hit level 100 and start farming for the final build, I usually sell it then. So we'll continue the trend of keeping all this sort of stuff. I was kind of hoping that Kilrian's Shattered Soul would show up here and I would be able to say like, I missed it. I did indeed find it. No, I didn't. And I think the rest of my components are pretty good. Okay, what do we got here? Lutra, we've got Calderos outside the Steps of Torment. This is going to sit in my quest log for a very long time. And, well, let's just jump to the thing everyone says. You can turn quests off. Okay, where are we? It is Old Scars. Okay, if you click on this little thing here, it goes away. But this is not going to hurt me, so I'm going to do it. Look at my quest log on the right when I log back in. Look who's back. Back again. Old Scars is back. Tell your friends. You can hide this, but it will come back, so I generally don't bother. Okay, Broken Hills. Let's go get another devotion point. This area is really good for devotion points because you just run through and there's one there. It's really easy. Once again, these guys are all made out of XP. I like XP, so we can kind of fight a few of them. I like scrap as well. If you're ever short on scrap, you can do the old dynamite trick. Collect a few blue items. Go to the inventor. You can blow them up with dynamite. You will get all of the scrap you will ever need. Generally speaking, I don't run out while I'm leveling, but if you want to do any amount of crafting, you will probably need it. I think we can kill a few of these again. Once more, they are made out of XP. I'm coming up on 27, which is going to be good. We will, with level 27, get access to the next level, or the next rank, I guess, of Nightblade skills, which is really good stuff. Ring of Steel, I think we get Anatomy of Murder. This is percentage increase to Cunning, percentage increase to Humans, and some percentage Vitality and Bleeding we don't need. But Ring of Steel, really good. Anatomy of Murder, always worth at least 1 point. And Blade Barrier is like, basically puts a whole bunch of spinning swords around you, reduces damage taken by a huge amount, gives you massive amounts of regen. It's kind of a fight reset button. And you would think it'd be really good for hardcore, but it's actually got me killed before because the regen, while it is a massive amount of regen, it doesn't make you invincible. And if you happen to push it while you're standing in, just for an example, no particular reason I'm picking this, if you happen to be standing in a pool of Aether and you're getting hit by things, you could just kind of die. And you can't move while that's active, so it's, once again, I mean, no particular reason why I'm bringing up this exact example. But a friend of mine told me that it was something that can happen occasionally. Alright, level 27. So we've got 1 point here. We could probably swap over to Ring of Steel now instead of this. Losing all that flak, cold, and acid damage is not ideal, but we don't really care so much. Let's go 1 point there, 1 point there, and you know what, I am going to go and rip all those points out of Amarasta's Blade Burst and Lethal Assault. So Amarasta's Blade Burst is weapon damage, which is piercing, and then a whole bunch of cold stuff. This one, Ring of Steel, is weapon damage, which is piercing, main and offhand, both fully piercing, and then a whole bunch of piercing damage, and you get a stun as well. You do have to be careful not to put too many points in it too quickly, because it will suck your energy bar dry real quick. It's like 26 energy already, more than double the first point of Amarasta's. We can probably put a couple points in there, though. Tell you what, just one for now. And then I'm going to max that out. And we're pretty much fully pierced now. Only piercing damage. Could maybe put a couple points in here as well. Shredding enemy offensive ability combined with bunch of defensive ability, bunch of dodge chance is really, really good for just not getting hit. I definitely am considering doing this. Let me have a look at the plan here. Where did I go? Yeah, so the plan has 1 point. I think that's fine. Alright, Blade Trap. Never put points in that, it's rubbish. We will take another weapon pool skill. I don't want to convert this to cold, so we'll leave that. I don't care about the poison damage on that, although the 10% crit damage could be useful occasionally. I think I'm going to hang on to these 2 points, and if my energy sustain is fine, I might put some more points into Ring of Steel. That'll be fine. Do I have a new skill? I have a Ring of Steel. There we go. Alright. Just double checking the quests here. I do have to return to Minova. Let's go ahead and do that now. I like stat points or attribute points, so we'll go and get that. Just go for a quick run up here. So this is where the teleport from Drieg would be useful, but I don't like how it feels. So I'm not going to grab it. Let's go 1 and 1. I do want to more or less split my stats evenly between physique and cunning. With that said, okay, this is ancient. I'm not going to touch that. Okay, these are dying much faster. Love it. Okay, maybe I will touch this. Definitely a mistake to click on this. Okay, there's no two ways about it. It is a mistake to click on this totem. Any ancient totem is going to give you a hard time. I think I got lucky with the spawn here. This could have been a lot worse. Alright, and I think we can just kill this guy. Pretty good damage, pretty good damage. Mistwalker leggings are a trap in that they are really good and it is damn near impossible to take them off. Especially if you get the empowered ones, which is the level 50, I think. You'll be looking at somewhere around 30 to 40% of Aether and Elemental resistance on a single item, as well as good stats, as well as move speed. They're just really, really good pants. I think I'm not going to put those on. And let's just go ahead and move these. I should leave these in the first tab so I don't have to move it every time I get a new tab, but I'm not going to. Okay, Lightbringers are Scorching, no. Demonic Hat, no. Ring, no. When it comes to rings, I am looking for resistances, I'm looking for health, and that's kind of it. If I can get some flat damage, either physical or piercing, I would probably take that as well. Health, stats, all that good stuff. Okay, new devotion point. Handguards of Oleron's Wrath. They could be really good. Let's have a look. That is a huge increase to armor. Pierce and Aether resistance. I think I have to use those. Which means I have to go back to town and change my component over. Before I check this on, what else we got? Resonant of the Fox. Resonant's not great. There we go. Piercing resist... excuse me, I'm talking here. Piercing resist 73 is not ideal, but it's kind of okay. Aether coming up is really, really nice. Heading into Act 2, or at the end of Act 2, beginning of Act 3, you're going to be doing you're going to be taking a decent amount of Aether. There's the Aether pool. I'm going to get out of that. And down he goes. There's the second Aether pool. Getting out of that. A couple of blues. Guardsman's Breastplate. I think I have... Is that the whole set, or am I at 4 out of 5? I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to use it. It's fine. Yeah, so the shield is the only one that I wouldn't have at this point. It is a level 15 set, though, so kind of no one cares, but just nice to see. Okay, these boots may be useful. That is a decent chunk of armor and a good amount of Aether resistance. So I am going to hang on to them. There is every chance that I am not going to use them, but I will hang on to them for the moment. Alright, let's continue along this way and head through to Homestead. Technically, the end of Act 2 is going to be Voldrak the Destroyer. I think we can get ourselves a little bit more damage. Okay, you do want to be watching out for the heroes in this section. I forget which one it is, but one of the heroes through here potentially hits really hard. And these guys with their nets can hold you in place, so you can't run away, and you just get slammed. So definitely be on the lookout for any of the heroes. Foolish Hunger leveling up is always good. I hope to never see it trigger, but better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Okay, coming through here. We are going to be using Mogara's Fangs for the amulet here, so getting there around level 28 would be ideal. I'm probably going to be maybe around 30-ish by the time I get to her. But if you find Mogara's Fangs of the Grove, you're a very lucky person. I'm definitely not going to be farming for it this time. I want resistances, and I do want of the Grove if I can find it, but I'm going to be taking the first one that drops. Okay, where are we? Classic Casting, I think, is the one. Was it the one? No, it was not. Okay, put it on cooldown, but it doesn't cast it anymore. So, if you notice, watch the cooldown here. I'll mouse over something that I am not in range to hit. Cooldown goes off, but the skill doesn't fire. Let's see if that works. Nope, it's back to firing. Okay, that's fine. That may be a bug with the new patch, which I believe I'm actually on the new patch. Came out yesterday at time of recording. So I believe I am running, what is it, 1.216 or something like that? I forget exactly. I do remember I looked at the patch notes and nothing affected the build at the moment. So if there is any changes that will affect the build, I will have a look and I will mention them as they come up. I think we're just going to have to deal with Ring of Steel firing off randomly before I get to a pack here. I know there was a way to fix it. I'm 90% sure it's classic casting here, but it's definitely not doing it. Okay, you want to talk about death trap totems? This one right here is a death trap totem. This is an ancient savage. Yeah, ancient savage totem. This one will spawn golems. I don't know why, but this one seems to spawn golems every time I click on it. The golems will throw rocks at you if they hit, and if like 2 or 3 of them hit you at the same time, you just die. So feel free, but if you do decide to do this totem, watch out for the rocks. Let me see if I can get them to throw it at me. Those ones, make sure you don't get hit by them. See that there? That was probably death being thrown at me. I'm going to turn the loot off. I do think I'm in melee range of all of them now, except maybe this guy here. You know what? You can just die. So yeah, these guys, really, really super dangerous, especially on hardcore. These are run enders, so just be very careful. Okay, Doomforged, Breastplate, maybe. Windborne Greaves a second time. The game's trying to tell me something. Regen on a ribbon is not horrible. Amarasta's Flurry is a little bit late, unfortunately. +2 to Lethal Assault. If we're playing cold, that would be really nice. Doomforged Breastplate, Vitality and Aether. Would be really good. Okay, if I could do that, that's great. It's more armor, which is very nice. It does, unfortunately, uncap my elemental, but I think I have a hallowed ground component that I could put there. Then I could put the scaled hide on my shoulders, and that would tank my piercing resist. So, unfortunately, no. Okay, here is the boss of Act 2. Say hello to Voldrak, everybody. Those big swings he winds up really, really hurt. This also really, really hurts. So make sure you're dodging them. You can just stay in melee range with him. Having said that though, he does hit just really, really hard. The overhead is the one you want to dodge. Ideally you dodge everything, but you really don't want to get hit by the overhead swings. Okay, I think I can probably run around a little bit just until my potion comes back. I did use it just now. And is he faster than normal? I seem to remember him never being able to keep up with me. Alright, potion's back. Let's go give him the business. Dodge the overhead. Just going to back out from that. He can do his little yell. And down he goes. Okay. Now, ideally, he is going to drop you a blueprint for the Mistborn Talisman. This is also amazing. If you were going to be playing Cadence, this is where you would start. Adding the AoE, the extra targets, the weapon damage, the TDM, all of that stuff onto Cadence makes it playable, in my opinion. In addition to this just being a really, really good roll weapon. Superior is flat fizz, and then the fervor is more fizz and also attack speed. This is really, really, really good. Not for this character, but for, say, a Cadence Warden, if you for some reason decide you want to play Cadence. That weapon is probably the earliest I would even consider it. And by consider it, I mean if I got a really good drop, I would think about it for 10 seconds and then continue using Force Wave. Alright, that's it. Act 2 officially complete. And we have one more cave to go before we get to Homestead. So we're about to run into Steven Seagal again. If you didn't get the reference before, you will once you talk to him in this little section here. We got Uglak the Immortal, who I also don't want to get hit by his big overhead smash. Okay, Troll Bone Crusher, there's another one. This one's for savagery rather than cadence. Prismatic of Arcane Winds, that's some good resistances. That is some good armor. Can I justify not using that for the extra speed? I think the total speed is really good there. However, I am going to hang on to those. Assuming I don't just accidentally sell them. Alright, Physique, Cunning, let's just bring Cunning up. 3 more points here. What do we got? We've already maxed out Shadow Dance. Energy seems to be under control. I'm going to chuck another point in there. And we'll be on our way. Just getting more damage is never a bad thing, as long as it isn't destroying your energy bar. Alright, here is Steven Seagal, otherwise known as Olgrim. Turns out he's not a chef.
I haven't been entirely honest with you. I'm not a chef, not by profession anyway, although maybe that would have been a better path.
Anyway, there you go. You can chat with him. Turns out he's a super secret spy and assassin slash potential demigod, but we'll find out about that later on. Or Ascended, I think they call him in the universe, similar to what the player character is. Turns out he's a bit of a big deal. Okay, welcome to the Mountain Deeps. I did just pick up the quest to find Dahlia in the Mountain Deeps, so we're going to go do that. Be on the lookout for a star, and actually, this is a really good point to make that change I was talking about earlier. This cave is absolutely packed to the brim with vitality damage. So I have the ability to get to 100% vitality resistance. I'm going to take it. So 2 soul shards will cap my vitality res. It will also more than cap my, or not cap, but more than deal with my energy issues, so I don't need the ectoplasm anymore. Still not capped on poison. Let's go ahead and fix that. And this one on that ring. There we go. And resistances are looking pretty good. I'm not loving the fact that this isn't capped, but I don't think there's a huge amount I can realistically do about that right now. I do have another point here, so stun resist and chaos resist. And next level, we are starting on Blades of Nadan. Got some minor avoidance there on the first node. Go ahead and keep the item. Chuck that on there. So top row capped, just ignore the piercing. Bottom row capped and kind of looking pretty good actually. We could uncap poison and acid again by putting the Mistwalker leggings on. At which point, once we've taken the Explorer's pants off, there's no point using Explorer's foot pads anymore, so let's just have a quick look. How do my resist look now? Aether is much better. Chaos is kind of the same, I believe. Move speed is still capped. Once I push the pneumatic burst, will give me 6%. Not quite capped, actually. Like 2% under. That's kind of okay. Which means I could put an anti-venom salve on my boots, and that would cap poison again. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I am going to not destroy those pants and boots, though. No, you know what? I'm not doing that. No, get out of my inventory. I've done it before where I swap in the full Explorer's set and Leovinus rings while I'm going through for quest rewards. And no, I'm not doing that. That is a horrible idea. I need to craft those. Okay, one scaled hide on the pants. And please tell me I can make another anti-venom salve. Beautiful. Okay. Resistances even more under control down here. You'll love to see it. I've got potentially... not potentially. Oh, hello. Okay, yes, I'm doing that. I should go and get a higher level version of this, but I think it's going to be level 32. Don't quote me on that, but I'm gonna run around with a fiery hat for a while. That's fine. Keep the add-on. So the Chaos Resist comes baked into the Incendiary Cask, and the Celestial Prefix is giving me the Elemental Resistance there, so we are looking very, very nice. Can I swap that? Lost a bit of Elemental, but it's already over cap, so yes, let's take the extra armor. I know I was just talking about maybe not using too many blues, but it is what it is. Empty the inventory, and we will continue on. That's a decent chunk of... No. Get through the cave. Then worry about all that stuff. Okay. So, back in the mountain depths here. Like I mentioned, this place is absolutely packed, overflowing with with vitality damage. All of the mages in here, I think they're just Trog blood mages or Trog mages. Not this guy. I'm going to be standing in a sigil of consumption any second. There it is. That rubbish on the floor there, that nonsense, is all vitality. They throw balls of vitality at you. There's just so much vitality in here. Okay, potentially, if you find Icrix here, you're also looking for Dahlia's corpse. Treasure trove. I love treasure troves. What do we get? Ancient Heart and Blood of Chthon. Lovely. Okay, this is really good as well. Resistances on this are kind of bad. And I probably shouldn't use it because of that. But the Winter Storm is a really good suffix, even if you're not doing cold damage, because it gives you +2 to Night's Chill, which gives you an additional, I think it's 1 or 2% piercing resist shred per skill point. So really, really good. If you can justify using it. Because we're not playing a cold build, it is a lot harder to justify using it compared to, well, a cold build. That also, Heart Piercing of Alacrity is really good. If I could get the rest of my weapons to be Heart Piercing of Alacrity, I would be a very happy man. I would be even more happy if I could get Heart Piercing of Fervor, but chances of that are pretty slim. Okay, just here is another place you could get a treasure trove, and then just over here is another place. We could also have had a totem by now. Where I actually found my treasure trove just here is the first location for the totem spawn in here. Obviously, it didn't spawn for me there. We should be seeing it. Actually, maybe there's no totem this time. Anyway, that's fine. This little section here, I mean, ideally, you don't want to be standing in all of this goop, especially if you've really transitioned out of regen more than I did. You really don't want to be standing in all that poison. There's another ring with another +2 to Night's Chill. So, in a perfect world, +4 to Night's Chill, if I didn't need the resistances, that could actually be capped. Piercing would be a little low. +4 on here. Yeah, it's 1% per point. So, I'm not going to do it, but definitely could. It is very nice. Okay, devotion point. Bam. Give me that avoidance. Next point, piercing damage. Next point, we want to get the flat damage. Where is it? That one there. So 2 more devotion shrines, and we are getting a nice little bumped damage. Now, I haven't found Icrix, so I'm going to head over here, because I know he's over here, because it's the only place he can be at this point. And it's important, I guess, to kill his friends off first. Icrix is going to do cold damage. He's going to spawn all these little crawlers. We can pretty much ignore the vitality, although I guess I probably shouldn't. Kill off his friends. Treasure trove could potentially be here as well. And then wherever you find Icrix, and he will show up on the map with a star, you're also looking for the corpse. There'll be a human corpse around here, which I think is actually where the star is. He's standing on it, I think. But we've got to find Dahlia's body as well. I swear I just got rid of that helmet. Alright, we eat the blueprint for the eye. The helmet, I already got rid of it. We're not going for it again. So there's Dahlia Tavern's corpse. Let's go ahead and pop that. Grab whatever loot pops out. And quest complete. Alright, so now all we've got left is the run to Homestead. Let's just pop our head out here, grab the rift, and be on our way. Is what I would say if there weren't so many blockages in the path. This has been one of the worst I've seen for a while in terms of getting through it. Alright, there we go. And the rift is just up here. And that is going to be the end of this particular episode, so I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.